Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Business Connect. If this is your first time on this channel, my name is Roy. I do interesting videos here about China, about life in China. I share my experience about what I go through in China as an international student and as an expert working in China. So if this is your first time watching my video, you don't want to leave this video without hitting this subscription button down there because we do interesting videos here. So in today's video, I'll be talking about 5 mistakes that international students make in China that will end up making their lives so miserable in China. You must have watched a lot of videos that talks about things that people can do and not do in China. But I think they are not talking about some very small things that they neglect that can make their lives so miserable in China. So in today's video, we'll look at 5 small things. They look very small and negligible, but they can make your life so miserable as an international student or as an expert living in China. I'll see you right after the break. So without talking too much and making this video a very long one, let's dive straight into the very first thing that can make your life so miserable in China. It's very small and negligible, but at the long run, it can make your life so miserable, and that is your name order. You know, in China, the system, the bank system, and most administrative systems are built in a way that identify characters and not letters. So if your name is written all in capital letters, it can be quite different from if you start the first letter with a capital letter and you write the rest in small letters. For example, my name is Mbifi. If I write the Mbifi with M-D-I-F-I and another Mbifi with capital M and lowercase b-I-f-I, in Chinese systems, these are 2 different names. So in China, when you go to the bank to open an account, when they ask you to write your name, if you start to write your name all in capital letters, make sure that all along in your life in China, whenever you go to the bank or whenever you're doing any transaction, you should follow that same order. If everything is in capital letters, it should always be in capital letters. If you start the first name with a capital letter and you follow the rest in lowercase, it should always be like that. And also another thing in China, the different banks have different name orders. So when you come to China and the first time you open a bank account, you might have maybe surname before given name. Then you go to another bank, it has given name before surname. So you have to stick to one order. And with the name orders, I'm going to talk about it in 2 categories. First is with the banks, and second is with Alipay and WeChat real name verification. So once you register your Alipay, the same order of names that you use for your Alipay, make sure that you use the same order of names for WeChat. And if you type them in caps lock everything in WeChat, it should also be in caps lock everything for Alipay. Don't put one in caps locks and the rest in small letters in WeChat, then in Alipay you do the. So you're going to see that at the long run, your names will be identified as 2 different people. You will present your ID card for something and they will tell you this is not you, because here it's in caps lock and here it's in lowercase. You go to the bank to receive money, you show your passport, the bank doesn't identify you, the bank thinks it's someone else. You want to do your real name verification in WeChat or Alipay, they ask you to send a scanned copy of your ID card or of your passport. Since it is identified by a machine and not a human, the machine identifies it as someone else. So in China, once you arrive China, start to use your names exactly the way they are on your passport. And in everything that you do, from your school registration to real name verification for Alipay and WeChat to your bank registration, these 3 things are very important. The moment you mix one and do the different for the next, at the long run, you might find things being so miserable for you because you will be identified as a different person in the long run. So please take note as you arrive China, the first name that you start to use for once you buy a SIM card, you want to register it, the names that you're going to use those same names all along as you stay in China. This will greatly help you. The second thing that I would like to talk about is the choice of SIM card, which SIM card to use in China. This is also a mistake that in the long run you will start regretting. Why did I choose this instead of this? Why did I choose this instead of this? So before you make a choice of which SIM card to use, it's good to know which city will you be studying in, and because the different cities have different coverage, and the different cities, the different providers have different advantages for students in different cities. So normally China has three major network providers. We have China Mobile, we have China Unicom, and we have China Telecom. Normally the biggest and most coverage is the China Mobile, which is widely used. China Mobile is widely used. Then second by China Telecom, and then China Unicom. But it will also depend on the city in which you're studying in. So I'm going to do a complete video where I'll give the details about these three network providers, their advantages and their disadvantages. So you want to hit that subscription button so that the time I upload that video about the network providers, you're not going to miss that video. We will talk about the details of the different network providers, their advantages, their disadvantages, and their different coverage in different cities. So once you arrive at the airport, the first thing you will have to do will be to buy a SIM card, and you will have people to rush up to you with China Unicom, with China Mobile, and maybe your phone only has one SIM card, so you have to make a very wise choice. Or if your phone can take two SIM cards, you have to make a wise choice of the three choices that you have: China Mobile, China Telecom, and China Unicom. Which of these two SIM cards should you have? Or maybe just one, but which one should you use? So this is also a mistake that once you make from the beginning, you can see your life ending up being so miserable, because you might buy China Telecom from the beginning, you use it to register most of your accounts, you use it for so many things, then in the long run, maybe you don't want to use it again, then you change it. But since you had already used it to link your WeChat, your Alipay, and so many of your school stuff, then changing a mobile number, you might miss out so many things in the long run, and this might end up making your life so miserable in the long run. So choosing a network provider is something that you have to do a little bit of research. Ask people, ask students before you buy a SIM card. The third thing that I would like us to talk about will be deciding whether to live on campus or to live off campus. You know, this is a very difficult decision to make, especially if you have not arrived China yet. Some students, before they arrive China, they've already made up their minds that I'll live off campus. But they don't know the advantages and the disadvantages of living off campus or living on campus. Well, this one might really depend on you as an individual. I'm also going to do a complete video that I'm going to give the advantages, give a detailed review of students living on campus, the advantages they have and the disadvantages, and a detailed review of students that live off campus, the advantages they have and the disadvantages. I'm saying all this based on personal experience, so you don't want to miss out on this video. And the fourth thing that I would like us to talk about on this video is receiving money from abroad. This is also a very complicated issue because different countries have different means of receiving money from abroad. So my advice here, a mistake that a lot of students make, they arrive China without having a visa card. This is a mistake that I made that I regret up till now, because I had to do other gymnastics receiving money from abroad. So my advice for you is that before you arrive China, create a bank account in your country and enter China with either a debit MasterCard or a debit Visa card, because this will greatly help you. Because receiving money, trusting on Western Union, MoneyGram, sometimes the rules change every now and then. The different countries, today we cannot receive money from this country. You go to the bank tomorrow, we are sorry, we cannot receive money from this country. We are sorry because of this, come tomorrow, come this day, come this day. So my advice for you is that before you come to China with a MasterCard or a Visa card, so that if your parents or your family wants to send you money from home, they just deposit this money in your account back home, and you're easily able to receive that money here in China from any ATM machine. And the last but not the least, mistakes that students make, very small mistakes, but they end up having large troubles with these: visa renewal. Students wait until their visa is left with 2 days, 3 days before they go for renewal. If you're not very lucky, in some cities, you might get an overstay. And once you have an overstay in China, They might just tell you, oh, okay, you're going to pay for this overstay, but in the long run, you might want to do something after you graduate. You might apply for a student for an extension, or maybe you might apply for a job and they want to do your work visa. Just the fact that you had 1 day overstay in your visa system, your visa can be rejected just because of that 1 day overstay. So my advice for you is that once your visa is left with 2 weeks to expire, rush and renew your visa. Don't wait until it's 5 days. Don't wait until it's 1 week. My advice, 2 weeks. Once you have 2 weeks, initiate the process, renew your visa, because you have ample time for everything, for every unforeseen. Before your visa expires, you already have a new visa, because just one mistake can end up having a very big stain on your visa record that can end up making your life so miserable in the long run in China, especially if you have dreams of staying longer in China. So thank you so much for watching this video up to this end. I hope this goes a long way to educate and to inform someone watching this video. If this is your first time watching my video, please don't leave the video without hitting that subscription button. I bring to you interesting vlogs in China. I share with you my experience in China, and I also share business opportunities for those who are interested in doing business in China. You can check the rest of my videos. I'll see you in our next video. Peace out and bye-bye.